we will obviously wait the 2 minutes like I normally do, just to wait for people to get in here. And then, as always, we'll get this show started. But there is so much to break down this week. So much to bloody break down. It's unreal. I mean, I've already made a lot of my opinions on a lot of the shit that's been happening quite clear and apparent, but there are some other things that I will have to bring up. But before I do that, a week's holiday. I'm looking forward to it. May not be taking a break from YouTube, but I sure as shit will be taking a week away from work. Funny as well how I'm getting a few comments now, more than anything. Hello, Chris. Hope you're doing well. Funny how I'm getting more and more people come out and say, do you work? Well, let me go and get my high vis. 1 second. If I can wrestle it off my damn coat. I mean, the way I look at it, this thing, and the great thing is, it's not company branded. Now, let me tell you a little story about this before we actually get this started. So back in the day, particularly in France, the yellow vests were a thing. The gilets de jaunes, if you will. My God, what a movement that was. But it ended up disbanding, I believe. There were some people who did do it a bit of discredit. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head who ended up going after a reporter, I believe. But in the end, the Gilets de Jaunes disbanded. And now look what we're left with. Don't worry, I'm not going to be stripping off for you. I don't want to be placed under war crimes right now. And of course, crimes of scarring people for life. Once whether you work or not, so someone does not have a say. Yeah. It's, well, here's the thing. There are going to be people who are going to be like that regardless. Yeah, no. I understand, bro. I understand. But there are going to be people that are like this, who are just like, they're looking for any little crack to have a go at you. And at the end of the day, some of these people may be, as you said it, they may just be saying, oh, well, you don't have an opinion because you're not working class. Well, last time I checked, I've been working for about 7 years, if I recall correctly. 4.5, 9, 3, 5, and I'm currently, well, I worked at another one for 10 months, and then I'm working 3 months, 4 months at my current job right now. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's close to 7 years, maybe give or take a couple of months. But anyway, that's not why you called. There is a lot of shit going on as of late. I've already made my very obvious opinions very apparent as far as Keir the traitor Starmer is concerned. How the man is going out of his way to label everyone as far right, and of course now bringing about the idea of, oh, well, if you post the videos online of the riots, we're going to send the boys round. Yeah, good luck with that one, Keir the traitor Starmer. However, there is also, of course, a woman who was arrested in the streets, violently assaulted by police officers, arrested but there was also a man who was arrested because of a post made on Facebook as well. I wonder why these people are getting arrested for thought crimes. When you have Keir the traitor Starmer in power, though, who is a socialist communist pig, is it really any surprise? The way I look at it, I knew right from the off that Keir was going to be trouble. I knew before he even got into frigging power, that man was going to be a massive traitor. And I'll tell you why I know this. Anybody recall COVID? Anybody recall when he basically went out partying when the Prime Minister at the time, Boris Johnson or Rishi the Slippery Sunak or whoever the fuck it was, told us we weren't able to go? Yorkshire Rose. I see, fair enough. But they told us we couldn't go out and celebrate Christmas. Or was it Matt Wangcock who said that? I can't remember now. Anyway, they said we can't go out and celebrate Christmas In the meantime, there's Keir the traitor Starmer enjoying his party with his friends. Also, on top of all this, bear in mind he was doing this at one particular point when the Queen was mourning her dead fucking husband. That's the way I look at it. Never gonna dance again. Hello there, record button. I hope you're doing all right today. But yeah, he was partying while we were forced, or a lot of us were told to stay in our homes. That's the way I look at it. That's the trouble with Keir. He hasn't got a moral compass at all. He knows exactly what he wants and exactly what he's going to do. Is it any wonder as well that when people are trying to confront him on a train, what does he do? He has his two little bodyguards bully the guy out of the carriage that he's in. But obviously he was scared out of his bloody mind about being asked questions about his agenda. But then, in his defence, can I really blame him if this traitor basically has all of these policies he's bringing in now, where he wants a squad of police ready to respond to protests, where there's two-tier policing? Yeah, how about a protest outdoors? Yeah, that's the thing. He is one of those people that wants to control political opposition. That's why he wanted to have a police force capable of going out and being able to arrest anybody who basically does not conform to his socialism agenda. We have seen 100+ people, 150 I believe actually, and counting now, arrested for these protests that have gone on across the country. A lot of them are being sentenced from 2 to 3 years, generally speaking, but there are going to be others, I suspect, who are given worse sentences. But you'll notice a lot of them are mainly from what the media will portray as far right. That's what saddens me. Keir the traitor Starmer has gone the whole 9 yards with this shit. And frankly, he has had, as I've said before, the worst speeches of any Prime Minister I can ever recall. When you think of a Prime Minister, you think of someone who is capable of galvanising the people. Someone who is able to, if you want to use the term, give the people that kick up the arse that they need to spur them on. Well, I inspire kids. I know the film, but Jesus. The snake has shown its head. Quite right. He has shown that he is more interested in a totalitarian 1984 Orwellian state, where he effectively controls all political opposition. He wants to make it... Hello, Doreen. Hope you're doing all right. He wants to make it so that basically, if you have a different opinion, you're not allowed a platform. You're not allowed to complain about children dying, about the state of our country, about illegal immigration, about the fact that our police are two-tier. And I'm doing all right, thank you, Doreen. As said, I hope you're well. Like, Keir the traitor Starmer has made all the worst decisions of any Prime Minister that anybody could ever get. Hello, Ian Gordon. He has effectively made all the other politicians who you could see as controversial or as scumbags, like Tony the War Criminal Blair or Gordon the Bully and Blundering Brown, he makes them all look like the little school kids at the playground in comparison to what this fucker's doing, quite frankly. And anybody who's come out and said basically, well, you should stop being a potty mouth and all that shit. Well, basically, I'm going to say it how it is, because unlike a lot of people who may be able to keep their tongue in check, and I could if I put my effort into it, but I'd rather not, because I don't want to sugarcoat my words. I don't want to mince my words, and I'm going to say everything exactly how I see it, off the cuff, and as it is. It wasn't like this when you were young. Oh, no, 100%. Like, the way I look at it, even though I was young, I could at least see, well, I couldn't see Tony Blair because I was a bit too young to understand, and I wasn't into politics when I was about 12 years old or whatever. But I digress. A lot of these people are effectively angry at what's going on. The fact that, as our friend here has just pointed out, how would they respond if 3 children killed were Muslim? Oh, he'd be staying there the whole fucking day. He'd be lighting candles. He'd be saying, look at this horrendous attack on the Muslim community. Like, he would do everything in his power to bend over backwards so much, I'm surprised if his head wouldn't have made a fucking swivel on its own from going upside down. But that's Keir the traitor Starmer for you. But the way I look at things is he could have handled everything so much better. It's like he deliberately picked out all the worst options he could have done. Talking egg. Dear oh me. Do I have to take out the trash? Do I really have to take out the trash? What do you think? I am so tempted. I am so tempted. Yeah, he's going. Bye-bye. Dear oh dear. Anyway, back on point. He has to go, blood. Yeah. And I'm not just talking about the guy in chat. Keir the traitor Starmer also has to go 100%. And at the end of the day, he has unilaterally and unequivocally destroyed his credibility in 5 weeks. Expect a visit from the plot. Oh, yes. Careful, Doreen. Careful now, because you're going to get in a lot of trouble, because the police are going to come round, because let's face it, they're not going to do it to the Islamic community, are they? They're not going to do it to the illegal immigrants. Another NPC. Let's get him out of here. They're not going to do anything about all these other people. They're just going to focus on the supposed far right, because that's all they've got. Oh, you haven't done anything, Doreen. I'm just doing this sarcastically. I'm saying, like, you better watch out. Because Beadle's about. No. No. Anyway, the point is, they will not focus on these people that are ruining our country. Jesus Christ, they're all coming out today. I'll leave this one to you, Doreen. But it's funny how all the NPCs are coming out now that I'm talking about Keir the traitor Starmer again. And, of course, what's been happening with the protests. Like, there are media outlets who are going out right now who are effectively pushing the narrative of, oh, these far-right protests that are going on, the police had better be prepared. Police are on high alert. The counter-protests have quashed the far-right. No, they haven't. We've simply decided not to turn up because at the end of the day, we know it's a trap, number one. And number two, we have people who we don't want to be able to make it so the police tar us all. We don't have anybody who is able to take the consideration. Thank you for taking out the trash there. And I've even made doubly sure there. But there are people who literally want to focus more on projecting over to the far right rather than actually admit that your narrative's wrong, mainstream media. The far right never turned up because they knew damn well it would just be a waste of time. And nobody planned these events. Nobody on the far right planned this. It begs the question, who did get that plan out there? Who put out all those protests? Where are they getting their information from? Because I'll tell you one thing, it ain't from Tommy, it ain't from Richard England, it ain't from Paul Thorp or Maya Toosey, it ain't from me. The way I look at it, oh, I'm so racist. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that, my guy? Reporting this stream. Ah, dear, oh dear. Another NPC. You know what? Just for you, Avada Kedavra, I'm going to explain myself here. There is not one racist bone in my body. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, all Muslims are doing this, or all migrants are doing this, or all black people are doing this, or all Hindus are doing this, blah, blah, blah. There is not one thing that I've said that is racist in any way, shape, or form. I have said this time and time again. I hate racism. I will stand against it 100%. But where you come in, Avada Kedavra, is you are just projecting. You are projecting like one of the grand masters of martial arts. Just pure projection, nothing more. The real racists are the ones on the left. Because it's funny you point that out, because there are people who were holding up those placards that were manufactured by a factory and not handmade, saying stand up to racism. There were people holding those things that were actually saying to people in the street who they don't even fucking know, Nazi scum. Of course, he won't be able to respond to defend himself now. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, to be fair, in hindsight. Because I'd love to absolutely destroy a proper NPC like him and take out the trash in the best way possible. But of course, the mainstream media won't tell you this, that they're shouting out racist and all that shit, or Nazi scum and what have you. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me, it doesn't suit the narrative. People like Avada Kedavra won't dare say that the racism is coming from the left wing. That's the way I look at it. They will never say that. They will never ever say it because they know damn well they'll get destroyed for it. Your thoughts, oh dear, oh dear. This is going to be a lot of fun. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. It's a shame that there are so many people coming out just to hate on me. But you know what? Haters are my biggest fucking motivators at the end of the day. And thank you for subbing. I appreciate it. It's not about racism. It's about the Islamic religion which is being used as a weapon against anyone who possesses their movement. Exactly. Islam, I know there are moderate Muslims out there. Let me be clear on this. I know there are moderate Muslims out there, but I think a lot of them are too afraid to speak out right now because the way to look at it is Islam absolutely despises apostasy, basically leaving the religion. They want to make sure that their subjects who converted to Islam stay in Islam. Anybody who goes to apostasy and leaves Islam, they're hunted down. They're killed. They're persecuted by their own damn religion that they left. So anybody who wants to preach racism, do Christians do this? Do Buddhists do this? Do Hindus do this or Catholics? No, they don't. It's only Islam. That's why a lot of moderate Muslims are afraid to speak out, because I guarantee you, if they didn't have that on them, they'd be speaking out about these extremists at the end of the day. They would be speaking out against the extremists. And ask yourselves this question. If you had extremists in your group of people, if you are going to sit here and be like, I want no terrorism or have you, and you see an extremist out on the streets, are you going to call them out for what they are and ask the authorities to get rid of them? I know I would. I know I'd do that at the end of the day. Because, quite frankly, we need to make sure that we're doing our bit. Just as Islam needs to do theirs. They would expect us to point out the terrorists. We expect the moderate Muslims to point out their terrorists and the groomers in their group of people, which they're very reluctant to bring up, unfortunately. Being in this country for anyone is have some respect for my country. Yeah, that's what it boils down to as well. People don't have any respect. When you see the illegal immigrants coming in, most of which have no legal human right to be here. Granted, there are some who go through the legal channels, and if you want to legally migrate, that I have no problem with, as long as you're coming to integrate with society, integrate with our way of life, our beliefs, our customs, and you're willing to pay taxes, most important one of all. If you're willing to do that, We will welcome you with open arms. Nobody is sitting here saying, oh, fuck all the foreigners. No, nobody's saying that shit. We're saying, you want to come by the legal channels. But at this point, we're so full up on people, we simply cannot take any more people because we're barely able to stand up ourselves. That's the way I look at it. You need to be able to help yourself before you can help other people. That's like saying, I'll give you an extra hand when your arm's been chopped off. It makes no sense. That's the way I look at things. But back to the protests more than anything, like a grandson. I appreciate the compliment, I appreciate it. But anyway, back to the protests. We also have, of course, as I mentioned in my other video, Ricky Jones, the Labour councillor from Princes, who called us all basically fascists and said that, and I quote his words, we need to cut all their throats. End quote. His words, not mine. Now, I don't know about you. Last time I checked, I think that counts as advocating violence, inciting violence, and inciting hatred, which is something, of course, the mainstream media are not going to tell you. Do you think, for 1 second, they're going to actually report this as what it is? Let's flip the script here. Let's say it was a white man saying, we need to cut all the Muslims' throats. Just for the sake of argument. Let's say a man did that and said, we need to cut all the Muslims' throats. How long do you think the police would take to get to that man, arrest him, in a cell, put him in court, and send him down for hate speech and inciting violence and hatred? They'd probably have it done in the same fucking hour. Like, they would be down on him. Just like that. But with these guys? No. This is why people say there is two-tier policing, as well as the pro-plasticine marches versus patriots marches, where we're going sing-alongs, we're having a dance, hugging each other, having a laugh, having conversations with one another, listening to patriots, watching films. The Skibbity crisis. Haven't done any research on that, so I can't really tell you, to be fair. Yeah, the police would be smashing your door down. Exactly. If I actually had said that shit, I'd expect knocks on the door while I'm live streaming. But obviously, these are not my views. Because I believe I do have that very important thing that Keir the traitor Starmer doesn't have, which is called a moral compass. Everyone, as MUA has said, everyone should be treated with the same level of respect. They should be indiscriminately treated by the law. But what we see right now, racists can't get you nicked, police let girls get used. Yeah, exactly. While soldiers, in come the guard dogs, in come the full riot squads, more often than not from multiple counties to assist. And they want to say, there's no such thing as two-tier policing. Ha! What a fucking joke. You might as well have said, we're not doing this honest. And then they're like, oh, yes, you are. Oh, no, I'm not. Oh, yes, you are. Like, that's what it is at this point. It's a fucking pantomime. Jesus Christ. When do these traitors not realise they've been found out? When do they realise that we've been able to call out this shit? Grandchildren just arrived. Well, I wish you well and look after your kids, please, for God's sake. That's an order. Anyway, back on point. The riots, is there a new riot going on, or is this just the riots in general? Because as far as the riots, let me be clear. I don't condone violence. I don't condone looting, pillaging, breaking the law, anything. You have to be more specific, please. I don't condone any of it. I will say, as I've said before, I completely understand the frustration with the British people. I completely understand it. 100%. If I had a child, you bet your goddamn ass, I'd be out on those damn streets. I'd be fucking furious. I'd be pissed off. I'd be, metaphorically speaking, wanting blood. Because these people need to be held to account. These people need to understand that we care for our kids, just like any other decent parent would. Hell, ironically, I'm not even a big fan of kids, and I still feel for them. What say you, mainstream media? Do you have kids? Do you have anybody in here that is a child? I wonder, if someone came in and hurt your child, do you think you'd be able to keep quiet about it? I wonder. I fucking wonder. I don't even have kids, and I've got the balls, whether up here, for sure, or down there, or in my case, both, to be able to call this out for what it is, and raise my voice for the kids who've died, God rest their souls. But then, no thought of the girls. Just concentrate on the far right. Ignore the fact that there are people going out of their way with machetes, clubs, knives, and they're going around finding isolated white men from the usual suspects, by the way, Islam, and they're basically going around trying to hack and slash at them. Not surprised? I wonder what you mean by that, to be fair. But at the end of the day, the reason I don't have kids, and this is a confidence issue more than anything, I don't have to disclose anything, but I'll say it here. I don't feel like I'd be a good father. So I choose to do the responsible thing and not have them. If I know I'm not suitable, I'm not going to have them. Simple as that. True colours have shown now. Time to take out the trash. Bye-bye. So, that's the way I look at things. We need to protect what we do. Because the police are not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything for us. They're going to do what suits the two-tier policing system best, what suits Islam best. Because we've already seen how they treat Islam and pro-plasticine. Kid gloves, or if things get tough, the cops get going. But when it comes down to patriots and concerned parents, then they get tough, bring out the batons, and start beating the shit out of you. Yes, I know, spatula. Anyway, that's what they do. They go out of their way to attack their own people and protect the enemy. Now, I don't know about you, but last time I checked, to align yourself with the enemy while persecuting your allies, isn't that being a traitor? I could be wrong on this, or someone who goes against their beliefs or cause or what they're supposed to do. Is that not what being a traitor is? Maybe I've got it wrong. Who knows? But the cold, bitter truth is we're being run by traitors. Two-tier reporting, two-tier policing, two-tier lawfare, put simply. Two-tier lawfare and a government with two-tier Keir, the traitor, Stalin, Starmer. That's the way I look at it. Like I said, I'm not mincing my words. I'm not sugarcoating anything. That man needs, frankly, we need to bring back the traitor law. We need to bring back the traitor law, and you know who took away that traitor law? I'm sure some of you have been paying attention to some of my videos in the past will know exactly who took away the traitor law. Tony the War Criminal Blair. He rescinded the traitor law just before he went to war in Iraq. So is it any wonder why he committed those war crimes and his treachery against Britain. Even more so, is it any wonder why Keir the traitor Starmer is doing what he's doing now? Ask yourselves that question. We need to bring back the traitor law, bring back the death penalty, charge Keir the traitor Starmer for treachery, and there should be a nice little spot with some gallows up there, with a bit of rope, stick his head in and let him hang. Because that's what we should be doing to traitors who want to destroy our country at the end of the day. We need to take out the trash, metaphorically speaking. We need to make sure that these people are completely dealt with by any means necessary. Bring them to justice, bring them to court, and make sure that he pays the full price for his crimes against Britain. Just like the war criminal himself, Tony Blair. I'm sure he's probably going to send some cops round my way if he finds out about this. But this is the cold, bitter truth. He is a traitor. And I will never stop calling him a traitor, because that is exactly what the man is. And anybody who thinks the man is actually a decent prime minister, I highly recommend goes to the nearest GP and get themselves checked out from the neck up. Because last time I checked, I know what the definition of a traitor is. I also know what the definition of a fascist is. And it is someone who silences all political opposition, put simply. Someone who stops the other side from being able to have a platform in order to voice their views. That's what Keir the traitor fascist Starmer is. Which again, the mainstream media are going to be oh so reluctant to tell you. Now, I will speak about one last thing before I end the stream, and I want to talk about Paul Thorp, because I can understand why some people are saying that the man is running away, he's a coward, and what have you. I can understand it from that perspective, because while I wasn't able to see the videos myself before he took them down, I did notice that he did put out 2 videos about one being, do you want to basically, well, leave the country while you still can? And then the other one said, I haven't said given up. He was saying that basically that because our country was being taken over by Islam, from what I understand, then what is going to happen to us if we don't leave? I've already made a point on Ricky Jones. I'll just go over it. A man who called for the supposed far right to have their throat cut, he needs to be charged in the same manner that the 150 people arrested on those protests were dealt with. He needs to face time in prison for inciting violence and hatred. But as far as Paul Thorp, I can understand why people thought he was running away, because it's implying that he's saying we need to leave the country, and it's saying that this place is lost. But at the end of the day, the way I look at it, and maybe I am playing a little bit of devil's advocate here, but the way I look at it, he has tried to bend over backwards to help us, the British people, out. He helped Richard Inman, he helped Tommy Robinson to get this whole event sorted out. I look at it is, I think it's a little too early to come to conclusions. I think if it really is just a break with his family, I think he at least deserves that much. He's not exactly young. He's not exactly 33 like me. He probably wishes he was, but the point is he at least deserves to have a holiday if he's really going through it. Hello there, Bala. Hope you're doing all right. If he's really going through hard times, hell, he may have even been threatened for all I know. But I've taken breaks before, and I haven't even been fucking threatened. Except for like one time, which was the very first protest I tried to go to, where someone said they were going to punch me in the face. But I still went anyway, because that was just a keyboard warrior. But this isn't about me, this is about Paul Thorp now. If he really is under threat, if he really is potentially being threatened by the powers that be, or Islam, or whoever it is, then he obviously has to look after himself and his family. Just like I would protect my family if I found out that they were in danger. That's the way I look at it. I mean, we can all come to our conclusions of he's being a coward, he's being a grifter, he's scared of losing money. At the end of the day, I think it's too early to say. It's only been like 2 days since he's put these videos out. So I think we should give it, I don't know, a couple more weeks. And give it time. Because it may be the man still cares, the way I look at it. It may be he still cares, and it may be that he really is going for a genuine break. That's the way I look at it. I mean, if it is obvious, then obviously on my head be it. But the trouble is, I don't want to jump to conclusions with Paul Thorp, because at the end of the day, there has been a lot of content that's come out from him. That is the truth. That is the way I look at it. So, obviously, I hope it isn't the case. I hope that Paul Thorp isn't stabbing us in the back. I hope he isn't taking the money and running. I hope he isn't the sort of person that will literally just take people's money and then piss off. Because the way I look at it is we all need to be in this together. It's either we stand united or we fall as one. That's the way I look at it. We have to be able to unite and stand together. And the other thing, of course, is I feel like we should stop going at each other's throats more than anything, which is why I'm reluctant to go after Paul Thorp. Because right now, there are far bigger problems than Paul Thorp. There are far, far, far bigger problems than dealing with our own people. We have got people going after these people, hands around necks, throttling. We can't go after our own people. We must focus on the traitors within first. That is Keir the traitor Starmer. That is the establishment, the two-tier policing, the fake stream media. We need to focus our efforts on them. Once they're dealt with, then we can all have our little in-house fighting on who said, she said, he said, and he took the money and she didn't, and whatever. We need to focus, guys. We need to focus on the real threat. Because I don't think it's Paul Thorp right now. Far from it. I think we need to focus on, to use, I guess I'm using Joe Biden's term at this point, but we need to focus on the bullseye more than anything. We need to hit the establishment hard. And we're not going to do that if we're going to focus on our own people and trying to get rid of them. We need every man, woman, child available. Obviously, I prefer not to bring the children in because obviously they shouldn't be fighting our lines. But we need to be dealing with the real threats. If we keep going at each other's throats, this is exactly what the establishment wants. This is exactly what divide and conquer is all about. We must focus, guys. Like I said, once we've dealt with the establishment, once we've dealt with the traitors in the houses of treachery, I mean Parliament, or maybe I was right first time, then, and only then, should we focus on the people we might claim to be a threat in our own group. That is my honest, humble opinion on this. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. It's been a pleasure as always. And I hope you all do well for the rest of your day. I wish you all a good morning, afternoon, or evening. And I'll thank you one last time for watching. And I will see you all in the next one. And hopefully, let's try to kick me off before I'm finished. Fuck off, you. Come out will be on Richard Inman, because I do think there is something I need to call out on that. Because I don't think we have 5 months. We're lucky if we're 12. But thanks, and bye-bye for now.